Now time to discuss Taylor Swift, which I know you've all been waiting for. But joining us now to give us more insight on the latest and what really these various business leaders can learn from her genius is Kevin Evers, senior editor at Harvard Business Review. So Kevin, first and foremost, thank you so much for joining us once again. And walk us through, I mean, the Masters buyback right now and really some of your favorite moves she's made just over the last several years.
Well, the whole saga about her masters is one of the boldest moves that we've seen in recent music history. Her masters were sold. She had no control over who those masters were sold to. So she found a legal loophole and decided to re-record all of her old music. That's a bold move, but it's a pretty crazy move too, if you think about it. She was essentially telling her fans, don't listen to the old music. Don't listen to the music that you've listened to your entire lives, the music that's so intertwined with your own emotions and your own experiences. And she told them, and her fans followed suit. Those re-recordings have outpaced the original recordings in streaming. They've outpaced the older recordings in physical sales as well. And she did what she set out to do. She undermined the initial investment that others had made in her music, the people who she didn't want owning her music. I'd say that's a pretty bold move for Taylor right there.
Kevin, do you think that this would have been possible 20 years ago to do that when there wasn't digital streaming options available and you would have had to require the consumer to replace music they already had with essentially the same thing by going to the store and buying it?
That's a great point. Streaming played a huge role here. It played a huge role in the value of her music. I think streaming has astronomically led to a inflation of music catalogs. So that was a big reason why people wanted Taylor's music, but it also played a huge role in her ability to undermine that initial investment, the sale of her original recordings because of streaming. That's exactly right.
So when we talk about, I mean, like what has been such commendable, like really business decisions she's made. I mean, she released her first album, I believe in 2006. So I was, I think 11 and now still is releasing music as if it was basically 20 years ago. And so that longevity of dominance in the music market, which is difficult. And I mean, as we know, we see a lot of turnover with a lot of artists. I mean, what has she done right that's been able to keep her at the forefront of, I mean, it feels like really superstardom for, again, 2 decades at least?
Yeah, she's on a whole other level right now. She's more popular than she's ever been. And I think a big reason for this, around 2019, 2020, she radically changed her strategies. She used to be very precious with the way she released music. She would release a new album every 2 years. But streaming has really called for a new form of engagement, and she really needed to engage fans at a more constant basis, and that's exactly what she's done. Over the last 5 or so years, she's released 8 albums, 4 of those re-records and 4 studio albums, and that led to the huge demand in the Eras tour. I don't think if Taylor had been so prolific over these last 5 years, I don't think she would have reached this level of popularity.
When we look ahead, Kevin, and we look for what's next and maybe what up-and-coming artists can take away from this successful last decade plus of Taylor Swift, what does it look, one, for Taylor, and what do you think, younger artists are going to learn and maybe take from that?
On the younger artist point, the one thing that they can really learn from Taylor is your craft is extremely important. Writing great songs is extremely important. But there's something else that's really important, and that's fan obsession. Taylor has always realized that superstardom is not superstars aren't self-made. It's a fan-generated cultural phenomenon, and Taylor, throughout her career, has gone above and beyond to exceed the expectations, the high expectations that her fans have for her through her social media strategies or the experiences that she builds around her music. And that's something that up-and-coming artists should really learn from her. And it's a big reason also why I think Taylor will continue to be successful and her popularity will grow, even though that may sound unbelievable, because she will continue to be fan obsessed, and that's a great part of her business savvy.
Yeah, do not mess with the Swifties, as they are a loyal and a powerful fan base, and definitely one I somewhat affiliate with, but they are definitely very, very loyal to all things Taylor Swift. And I mean, there's definite genius behind that. So really great conversation, and so appreciate this. A fun way to close out our Friday. Thank you so much, Kevin Evers, the author of There's Nothing Like This, The Strategic Genius of Taylor Swift.